Good afternoon, everyone. I want to welcome you down to our Beach Bash and our Founders Celebration. My name is Mary Van Arsto. I'm the Director of Recreation for the city, and it's my privilege to have our Founders Celebration kick off here in a few minutes. 25 years ago, on May 25th, 1987, residents came here to our grand opening of this facility, which we all know and have come to love. And it's just wonderful to see so many of you out here today. We've got such great weather, and I'm sure we're going to have a really wonderful time going down memory lane here. This was no small improvement project, but rather a massive engineering feat to protect the beach against erosion and restore a premier recreational area. It took extensive work by residents, many of you which are here today visiting with us again, elected officials, and skilled engineers to develop the design that would stand the test of time. Never had or has a project so captured the enthusiasm of this community. Today we will briefly share the story of how this project came to be, some of the interesting milestones that took place during construction, and pay tribute to those that were instrumental in making this facility a reality. We also know there's still some work that remains at Forest Park property. This includes a special tableland park above and the bluffs and ravines that help make up the special natural asset. We will also share some information about this exciting project that is now before the community. Joining me today is Bobby Brown, going to speak with a few words on behalf of the Farwell family. First Ward Alderman Kent Novitt and Kathy Waldeck, along with the Park Board Chairman Kurt Volkman, Commodore Bob Bancroft, and the Forest Park Project Board President Ralph Gesualdo. Each of these individuals will help share the past and the future legacy about this special property. Many of you may not know a lot about the beach, especially if you're new, so we encourage you to check out our wonderful boards. And for those of you who were instrumental in creating it, we hope you enjoy this brief walk down memory lane, competing with airplanes too. I especially want to thank all of you who helped make this possible 25 years ago, and for all of you for joining us today. If I could, I'd like to have Bobby come up now, and she could say some words on behalf of the Farwell family.
Hi, my name is Bobby Brown, and I'm here representing the Farwell family. My uncle Frank Farwell was the mayor who spearheaded the rejuvenation of this lovely beach, and I'm going to read you some memories from his daughter, Edie Farwell. So this is what Edie gave to me to say to you. My siblings and I thank you so much for honoring my father and his efforts to restore this beach. My father was a lifelong Lake Forest resident, as was his father, his grandfather, and his great-grandfather. And from them, he learned the joy of participating in the life of this special community. My father grew up on the shores of Lake Michigan on Stonegate Road, and from that vantage point, he knew that it was a great privilege to live next to Lake Michigan, one of the Great Lakes. When I was growing up, we rarely went to the beach. It just wasn't appealing. The water was more polluted then and dirty, and you really just didn't want to swim in it. And too often the whole beach was coated with a layer of dead alewives. It was really bad. I remember that. Plus, over the years, the beach had eroded, and there just wasn't that much beach left, which you can see on the posters over there. You can see how narrow the beach was at the time they started to restore it. All that changed when my father was mayor, and he got inspired to take on the beach project. Basically, what he wanted to do was to put the lake back in Lake Forest. I expect many of you here will be able to tell that story better than I and know who the key players were. And again, it's really interesting to look at the poster board over there. But what I do remember was how energized and excited my father was and sort of took on the grand vision of resurrecting the beach. He envisioned a place that the citizens of Lake Forest were proud of, wanted to go to, and that was beautiful and inviting. It was a gathering point for many people with a diversity of activities that were available. How pleased and proud he was when that is exactly what happened. To fulfill his vision, he and many others worked hard, talked to many people, and most importantly, inspired the citizens to share his passion for a lovely and welcoming beach. To his great satisfaction, Lake Forest residents supported this dream. In large part due to his persuasive vision, voters understood the payback on the investment would be well worth it. Thankfully, that has indeed been the case, and then some. My father was really not a swimmer, and I can't remember him ever putting a big toe in the lake. But this beach was his pride and joy. The swimming, walking paths, sailing, battle of the bands, picnicking, kayaking, sandcastle building, frisbee, and all the forms of fun that we have down here was a source of ongoing delight for him. Every visitor that ever came through was taken to the beach to admire its beauty and walk the paths, and if when willing, to swim in the beautiful Lake Michigan. Many of them, like all of our family, were issued the infamous Beach, Beach, Beach t-shirts that were distributed as the project got underway. My sister Susie still has hers 25 years later. My father so loved and was so proud of the Lake Forest Beach. He just reveled in the sight of everyone having so much fun. He would be thrilled that this event is happening. In his honor and in honor of Lake Michigan itself, I trust that you'll all want to take a dip in the lake to celebrate properly and further cement your own and your children's abiding love of this great lake. Thank you.
And thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Mary. I'm going to tell you a bit about the Shoreline Restoration Committee, which was an element of the beach restoration project. Back in the early 1980s, the brilliance of our shoreline was fading due to over 2 decades of record high Lake Michigan water levels and years of erosive activities. City staff has displayed some of the images of the beach area and the way it looked over various decades before the project, and what privilege we have to enjoy it in its current condition. If you haven't done so, we hope that you enjoy viewing the images of what the beach looked like previously after the celebration. Recognizing the need to protect the beach, the city formed a group in November of 1984 called the Shoreline Restoration Advisory Committee. That committee, chaired by James Altunian and Haber Gillette, was made up of 21 residents, then City Mayor Frank Farwell, City Manager John Fishback, and 2 key members of the city staff, Peter Cummings and Char Kreutz, and shoreline engineers from Warzen Engineering, F.W. Baird & Associates, and Johnson, Johnson & Roy. They spent a year, and excuse me, it's a little windy, identifying the shoreline problems and solutions that included a hydraulic modeling test that was performed by the National Research Council Laboratories in Ottawa, Canada. The final design was a beach breakwater system that was site-specific for Lake Forest and capable of adapting to nature's stormy blasts. The curved beach areas create the action necessary to protect the bluff. The breakwaters dissipate wave action and energy, and waves direct the sands to dunes when the land is threatened. Since that time, numerous storms have struck our shoreline, but the design that was created has performed exceptionally well with very few impacts. In the year 2008, Forest Park Beach was chosen to be the recipient of the American Shore and Beach Preservation Association's Coastal Project Award. And that prestigious award has never been given to any inland project prior to that time, and was given recognition to a coastal project that stood the test of time and has shown positive environmental, social, and recreational benefits. As you could see, the work of this Restoration Advisory Committee was visionary and endearing, and if any members of the Shoreline Restoration Committee and engineering firms that put their labors into creating the beach are with us today, I wish they'd step forward so we could recognize their efforts. And we have a few. And, thank you. Oh, Jerry Shields. Jerry, what part of the project were you involved in?
The walkway. Everybody had everybody on the committee had a specific project that they were given to work on, and the project I was involved with was the stairway. The wooden stairway because of the problems that were always with those concrete steps and that. So I hope everybody enjoys it.
And all the elements of this project, and we appreciate it, just the creation, the duration of this project, and just that it's perfection as you look around. For the sake of it, we're next going to hear from a few words from Kathy Wald.
I got one funny story about
I was on the restoration committee. I apologize for not coming up.
Oh no, that looks good. But can you introduce yourself?
My name's John Tox, and I was working on the beachfront owners coordinating cooperation.
Which is a full-time job, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. And you had just a quick story you'd like to tell us?
just a quick funny story. During one of the meetings, one of the members who was on the beach said, you know, we need to get some slides and swings and all that kind of equipment out here for the kids. And one of the other members all of a sudden turned and said, but if we do that, we're going to have a lot of kids on the beach. The whole room shut very silent for about 5 minutes.
It's hard to keep those kids away from the beach. We'll work on that in council.
Barbed wire.
Yeah, that'll go to committee. But the efforts of the committees in designing the beach, setting to work the next stage of the project, which was fundraising and actual construction. I'm going to ask my fellow First Ward Alderman, Kathy Waldeck, to briefly talk about that. Thank you very much for your efforts.
Thank you, Kent. As you can imagine, a project such as this one required an extensive financial commitment as well as community education about the project. City leaders had pledged the funds to conduct the hydraulic model testing, but much more would be needed to complete the construction. As a result, the YES Committee was formed in 1985. This group of dedicated residents spent countless hours sharing information and encouraging resident support. In March of 1986, a referendum was held, and an astonishing 76% of Lake Forest voters approved the beach project. And so construction began on June 18, 1986. Amazingly, the $9.1 million shoreline protection, restoration, and recreational development project was completed on time and on budget. Of the total funds, $8.8 million came from the bond issuance and $300,000 came from gifts from generous residents. No federal or state funds were sought or used for the project. On behalf of the city, I wish to acknowledge any resident with a round of applause who is here today that assisted the YES Committee. Would anyone who was on the committee like to step forward? Here's a brief summary of construction. Breakwaters were built first. The stones were carefully placed according to engineering specifications. Barges from Wisconsin made 55 trips to Lake Forest, carrying 109,000 tons of quarry stone. Following this, for 3 months, 12,307 truckloads, or 246,152 tons of sand, were delivered to make the beach. That amounts to 1 truckload of sand every 5 minutes, 6 days a week. Concrete curbing, wood ramps, the brick promenade, multiple pavilions, and lighting soon followed. By May, the boating area was almost ready, with the rotunda complete, 2 lanes for power boating, and 2 jib booms, cranes, for sailboat launching. Landscaping, consisting of an expansive lawn, 356 trees, and 1,053 shrubs added the final green touch. Dedication Day, May 25th of 1987, arrived with rain showers, but nevertheless, over 6,000 residents came to look and share the excitement of their new Forest Park beach. Speeches were made by then Mayor Marshall Stringer and City Manager John Fishbach. We then watched former Mayor Frank Farwell, who had appointed the Shoreline Committee and overseen the project from concept to reality, toss the final bucket of sand on the beach. And for over 25 years, we as residents have visited this property and enjoyed the results entrusted to us by our beach founders. I'm now going to hand the microphone over to Kurt Volkman, Chairman of our Parks and Rec Board, who's going to tell you a little bit about Forest Park Beach today.
Thank you, Kathy. On behalf of the Park Board and the Parks and Recreation Department, we'd like to say a big thank you to the Shoreline Committee, the YES Committee, past city councils, many past and present board members, donors, city staff, who all have the vision for this beautiful facility and have supported the evolution of our services over the past 2 decades. Today, Forest Park Beach offers a wide range of recreation opportunities for residents of all ages, interests, and abilities, and for every neighborhood in the city. It truly is the gem of our city's recreation facilities, and one in which we're extremely proud to maintain on behalf of the community. Thousands of residents enjoy the beach annually, which makes it our most visited facility in our park system. Residents can be found enjoying the lakefront from sunup to sundown 12 months out of the year. On any given day, you'll see people strolling the walkway, meditating in the sunlight, reading a book in the shadow of the bluffs, basking in the sun, sprinting up the stairs for their workout, capturing the extraordinary color of the lake on their paint canvas, or splashing in the water, regardless of how cold it might be, or launching a boat to sail along the beautiful shoreline. Others also enjoy attending our numerous special events throughout the year, such as the Smelterama, the Family Fun Campout, movies at the beach, and the Fall Halloween Sailing Regatta. In addition, our Lake Forest Sailing Program and the Lake Forest Yacht Club sponsor several events throughout the year that showcase some of the best sailing talent and programs in the country. I think it's worth mentioning that our Lake Forest sailing team is currently ranked #1 in the Midwest. And over the past 3 years, the team has qualified for 10 national championships. We kicked off the Beach Bash on Friday evening and have hosted multiple activities to engage residents of all ages over the past 3 days. On behalf of the Park Board, we hope you've enjoyed the wide variety of activities over the weekend, and we look forward to your continued enjoyment in the years ahead. As you know, it takes a team to deliver services for a facility such as this. I'd like to ask Bob Bancroft, Commodore of the Lake Forest Yacht Club, to come up to acknowledge a very special individual from our department. Bob?
For 25 years, Mike Perry has helped us down at the beach launch boats. And Mike, would you bring the Wings of Mercury forward?
Thank you, Bob.
For 25 years, Mike has helped everybody down at the boat basin, launch boats, retrieve power boats, help with the crane, crowd control, and we want you to know how much we've appreciated your help, your dedication, and your hard work. You weren't aware of this, but we had a crisis in the compound last week. I lost my watch, and I thought I'd found it. But I guess not, because this one says Mike Perry, 25 years, Lake Forest Beach, July 29th, 2012. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Dr.
Ralph Giswaldo, president of the Forest Park Project Board, and the first announcement I have, it's probably the most positive now, I'm the last speaker. So it's over after me. I'm a 42-year Lake Forest resident, and you don't have to look around other than this park and this beach to realize why I've lived here for 42 years. 25 years ago, the goal was to protect and preserve this special natural asset. It's hard to imagine Lake Forest without this amazing facility. Now, 25 years later, we have the opportunity before us to finish the vision with the implementation of the Forest Park Master Plan. The portion that we are referring to includes the tableland above the park and the adjoining bluffs and ravines. As many of you know, for the past 4 years, we have gathered feedback and refined plans for rehabilitating, enhancing, and preserving Forest Park. The master plan for the park is designed to serve as a comprehensive guide for future decisions about Forest Park. Its goal is to honor the legacy of the 19th century landscape architects Elmer Hotchkiss and O.C. Simon, while also balancing the many changes that have occurred over the past century for contemporary park needs. Those of us today have a responsibility to the future generations to do all that we can do to rehabilitate and enhance this special piece of property. We hope you've had a chance to experience our walking tours offered this weekend, as well as to pick up some information relating to this exciting project. We feel the images of the current park adjacent to the proposed enhancements will clearly illustrate the exciting opportunity before us and creates the vision of how we can work together to make this as spectacular as the beachfront and a very special place for future generations to enjoy. Our next steps are to complete the engineering drawings, budget refinements, and fundraising. Yes, there will be fundraising. The community has a long history of public-private projects, partnerships that have resulted in wonderful assets for the city of Lake Forest. We are confident this project will deliver the same results. We hope that you keep tuned to the plans underway, but more important that you consider supporting this project, this important project that will enhance and preserve the remaining portion of this wonderful recreational property. I will be around after the ceremony to answer any questions you may have, or you can check out our website at www.forestparkproject.com. We've got a great responsibility and a great opportunity to take what's been done down here at the beachfront 25 years ago and continue this on through the ravines and through the tabletop land above. Thanks for all coming today. Earlier today and this weekend, we've had the opportunity of getting a number of people to sign up for a drawing. And the drawing is to have a tree planted in the new tabletop land, in the new park, under your name, and you'll be recognized as the donator of that tree on a board that's going to be down in the south parking lot. So what I'd like to do is ask Mary Van Alster to come up, and let's see who the lucky donor is. It's Kathy Pickus, 511 Rosemary. Is Kathy here? Well, even if she's not here, there'll be a tree planted in the park under Kathy's name, and there'll be a donor plaque that'll go along with that. Once again, thanks for coming out to the Beach Bash. Thanks for listening to 6 speakers today. We've got such a beautiful asset here at the beach. We hope to continue that, and have a great day and enjoy the festivities.
Thank you, everyone. We're going to have some musical entertainment now. We have Michael Thomas and the group that's called Mirror Images. They played 25 years ago on the beach opening. So they're back to join us. The members have come from all over the country to play again, so we hope you'll stay around and enjoy their musical entertainment this afternoon.
Ready?